1 second doesn't matter, right? Well, this is completely wrong. 1 second can win or lose your war. On the battlefield, even 1 second of time feels like an eternity for your enemy. I will cover why timing matters, how scaling changes fights, how enemies get disrupted, and when to push levels. Mostly it's going to be this video for the artifacts and actually explaining why timing, seconds actually matter and how they actually change the whole outcome of the battlefield. Yeah, obviously the activity is going to be the king in the majority of the cases. You cannot do that much with your 1 second when the enemy show up 2 times more in numbers. But at the end of the day, if the things are close to the same or they even outmatch you by a little, you can get advantages from your artifacts and actually get the best outcome. And this is something that I noticed when I was fighting against MFD. Funny enough, I'm part of MFD right now, and this is the gate that we're talking about. I was from the side of the BTX and we was having decent amount of power, like 20 billion power. This alliance is having like maybe close to 20 billion power. But what they do, and I think this is a strategy that a lot of players can actually implement and is going to just turn the outcome. If you're doing that and you make these small changes from your artifacts, it's going to just turn the outcome of the fight if you and 5 or maybe 10 people do that. Obviously, if the things are close to the same power, we're not talking about somebody show up with 100 legions and you show up with 20. Obviously, not much can be done in situation like this. So I'm going to speak with the two of my favorite artifacts and maybe actually 3 artifacts. And one of the favorite artifacts I'm having and I'm going to show you is actually the Frozen Ring. Here again we're talking about the seconds. The artifacts I'm going to show you is all about the seconds, and this seconds is a game changer in the fight. I think the majority of the people are using Freezing Ring. The main reason behind is just the enemy is attacking you, and like this you taunt artifact damage because the majority of the people are using artifacts on auto. So if for the next 8 seconds or 10 seconds, sorry about that, is 10 seconds, you gather so much hits from artifacts, normal attacks and rage skills from the enemy, your legion become extremely valuable on the battlefield. But here is the thing, a lot of people are using this artifact with the donkeys. Obviously they're looking with the donkeys to hit this 15 million resource healing, which is a crazy number, and I think Call of Dragons should reduce this number, but at least to do the healing to get some elixirs and continue fighting on the battlefield. But people get clever these days and they don't attack when they see some donkeys coming on the battlefield. Majority of the people are playing with zoom out, so they see the icon of mages, marksmen, infantry, cavalry, and obviously donkeys. So nobody's actually attacking the donkeys. So at this point, I strongly suggest use infantry, not much, maybe the legion of 50k, maybe tier 2, tier 3. You only need the charge and survivability to take like 2-3 hits. And people who is playing zoom out, they just going to target you. At one point that they're going to see you're not dying when they fight zoom out, they're going to zoom in and they're going to see, oh my god, surprise, surprise, this is actually a Frozen Ring, because 10 seconds is pretty decent amount of time. And if you have like 4, 5, even 6 people doing that non-stop, for example, this is what I'm doing. I have a legion with 4 good developed legions, mage legion, and I have one space where I'm actually using the Frozen Ring, and like this I win some time for my alliance. I think it's extremely valuable, the Frozen Ring, and what he can actually do for you. But obviously this is not the only artifact I'm talking about. The other artifact with the seconds that is going to be extremely valuable for you, and honestly this is the most painful artifact I face in Call of Dragons, and this is Spiritborn Torque. Now at level 1 is going to be forcing them to attack your legion for 3 seconds. when you level up this artifact, it can go up to 5 seconds. So for 5 seconds your legion is going to get stuck. It's extremely valuable when the people are start running. For example, you kill the enemy infantry and your infantry start charging through the enemy marksmen and mages. This is the moment where this artifact become extremely valuable, because if you get catched for 3 seconds, okay, 3 seconds is not that much, but for 5 seconds your legion is gone. Your legion is killed. And so many people did that, but the game continued to evolve, the people become more and more creative, and right now the most hot item is just directly do a blink and get decent chunk of enemy units, stack it on one place and AoE farm them. This is right now the hot item on the market and what the people are doing. But still, back in the days, having the Spiritborn Torque and this taunt that this artifact was providing, if you catch 2-3 legions, those legions are basically destroyed. When this artifact is leveled up to level 5, still at level 3 you're going to get decent amount of damage, and at the same time you're going to get slowlet and etc. It's just crazy artifact. And again, we're talking here about a second. One more artifact that is also a game changer in the huge wars, and this is Breath of Gigantis, is for 20 seconds 10 legion get minus 16 defense break. Now we're not talking about the 5 seconds, 10 seconds, we're talking about 20 seconds with defense reduction, which is a pretty decent number. This artifact, his time to regenerate and be able to use it again is something like 1.5 minutes, if I remember right. So yeah, 20 seconds, you can see what percentage from this artifact charge time the enemy is going to suffer. That's why I think this artifact is also extremely valuable. And maybe with these 3 artifacts I can actually make my point in this video, where just every second matter and those seconds stack, and if you put the enemy in extremely bad position, just by these seconds you're going to be way ahead over them, because it's going to be like 2 seconds every 30 seconds, and one fight is hours, and you can see what advantage you can actually build like this. And maybe just to be more precise, to be honest, I'm going to talk about a little about this artifact, which is Spiritborn Torque. And is 1 second really noticeable in general? And the short answer is yes, because skill and auto attack syncs differently when you're stuck in the taunt. You're basically going to use your rage skill on the target. You're not going to be able to trigger your artifacts. I don't know if the people see, but if you get taunted, you cannot use your artifacts. And the next thing I want to talk is what the difference between 3 and 4 seconds. Again, we're talking about a single second. Well, the difference is that is an extra cycle of the enemy DPS loss, because if you do a normal attack at 1 time per second, this is again a DPS lost over the target that actually taunt you. And obviously some of the artifacts is going to be very nice to have a higher level, like for example Spiritborn Torque. At level 5 you basically increase by 66% the efficiency of the taunt, which is a game changer. Obviously the defense bonus can go up to 30%, normal attack damage reduction 10%, infantry counter attack damage bonus 20%. This artifact built for Goresh and Skogul back in the days, and obviously this artifact come actually with them, but still this is just a small example how those little seconds here and there in the short interval can actually make a game-changing move on the battlefield. So yeah, this will be for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. If you do, hit one like, subscribe, and see you in the next video.